Good morning and welcome to A Thought for the Day in the middle of the week on Wednesday morning. There's a view as I leave the house almost every morning, and I look, the front door of the house faces west, and as I look kind of to the north, to the right of where I am, there's a view kind of over where the city is. You can't really see the city particularly well because it's in the dip, but you can see the hills over on the north side of the city. And usually the sun, when it hits those hills, it kind of really highlights them, and it's this beautiful view. And I promise you that every day, pretty much, for the almost 6 years that we've lived here, I've looked out at that view and I've just been so grateful, so thankful that we live where we live, and I can appreciate that view. The other day we went to Westonbirt Arboretum for our walk, and we booked the tickets in advance and we went, and even though it was raining, it was great to be out amongst all the different types of trees that were there. And there's something quite powerful, quite significant about being out in creation. Even if that's in your garden, you know, the grass, the trees, the plants, the fresh air, it's an amazing feeling to be connected to the world which God has made. And I wanted to read to you an excerpt from a book, and I can highly recommend this book. It's called Praying the Psalms. I can't read it backwards. A Personal Journey Through the Psalter, and it's by my friend and pastor Ian Stackhouse. Highly recommend that book to you. And I just want to read to you the excerpt that he's put here for Psalm 8. So Psalm 8 verses 3-4 says, "When I consider the heavens, the works of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what are human beings that you are mindful of them? Human beings that you care for them." And then Ian says, after 5 consecutive psalms brimful of suffering, what a contrast to arrive at the gates of Psalm 8. It is as if we have returned to Eden and coming to prayer feeling jaded, as we often do by the language of the market. It is a welcome relief to find ourselves again in a world of wonder. The vastness of everything, the sheer scale of the universe, is not a pretext for unbelief, not a reason for thinking we are lost in the cosmos, but a prelude for worship. We marvel with the psalmist at the mindfulness of God. It turns out we are special after all. Indeed, as we look up to the starry night, happy to be alive in such an enchanted garden, what astonishes us is not just its majesty and delicacy, because what we discern there is not simply the work of his hands, but the skill of his fingers. I call to mind the works of Annie Dillard. We are a faint tracing on the surface of a mystery. Wow, what words to reflect on today. And Ian ends with a prayer. Dear Lord, I cannot help thinking as I pray this psalm of the children who made such a glorious din as Jesus entered the city of Jerusalem, and I join with them in believing that his crushed divinity is indeed the glory of man. May you know something of that majesty, that wonder, that mystery, that beauty and connectedness with the world around you today. And I pray that you stay safe, and I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow.